When I think of Diddy and I think of food, I think of the episode of The Band when he had these young aspiring artists walk all the way from Manhattan to Brooklyn to Junior's to get him a slice of Junior's cheesecake.
But I do want some cheesecake.
Sha Diddy Combs is facing 25 to life on multiple different charges. This man is absolutely fucked. They just denied his $50 million bail. He offered the government $50 million to let him out, and they said, we don't trust you to not run away.
Formerly well-known music mogul Sha Diddy Combs, who had an extravagant lifestyle, is now facing the harsh realities of life in prison after being arrested on federal charges of conspiracy, sex trafficking, and racketeering. Things will only get worse for Diddy, who is being held at the notorious Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn. He is reportedly having a difficult time adjusting to the harsh conditions of prison after giving up his previous luxurious lifestyle. Diddy's life took
had a more classical and formal style, but which seemed to have been redecorated when the rapper bought it. The place also has a game room and a wine cellar for drinks, next to a green-walled kitchen, as well as having 11 luxurious bathrooms, a library with wooden bookshelves, and 8 cozy suites. Outside, the mansion's lot is 1.3 acres, featuring wooded gardens, a casual dining area, a tennis practice court, and a resort-style pool that features an underwater tunnel. According to media reports, Diddy bought this mansion in 2014, shelling out a whopping $39 million for it. Cars! Diddy is passionate about vehicles, so much so that he has become known for having quite a luxurious collection. For example, the following cars have already passed through his garage: a $35,000 Jeep Wrangler Unlimited, a rugged 4x4 for more extreme touring, a $75,000 Cadillac Escalade, with which he was involved in a traffic accident, a $100,000 collectible Chevrolet Corvette, a $110,000
drastic shift after his arrest in late 2023. Alarming claims of abuse, including the organization of elaborate and predatory sex parties where women were reportedly drugged and coerced into sexual acts, were recounted in the 14-page federal indictment M. In addition, Diddy was accused in the indictment of organizing these parties and having them recorded without the victim's permission. Diddy is charged with numerous offenses, including forced labor, trafficking, bribery, and kidnapping. Diddy has pled not guilty since his arrest and is preparing for a challenging legal battle. Diddy is being held at MDC Brooklyn, a prison notorious for its harsh conditions, brutality, and overcrowding.
Yes, when they told his bond hearing, now they checked him into the system, and reality has hit him. And I understand that he has a shrink coming by his cell to see him several times a day. And now there's talk about putting him in, it's like a bubble. It's like a cell that has like a plexiglass wall in it where they have inmates watching you. That's actually their job, to keep an eye on the inmates that are on suicide watch. Another error that I guess some warden told you this. There are sentenced inmates there. They're called cadre inmates. They don't have to be white-collar inmates, but they're doing maintenance on the building. And the problem, why there's a lot of violence there, they have housing units. And they're mixing bank robbers, drug dealers, rapists with...
Sam Bankman, the resentful cryptocurrency tycoon found guilty of fraud, and Diddy are presently being held in the same secure unit at the Metropolitan Detention Center. Prominent prisoners frequently reside there. It was once home to convicted felons including R. Kelly and Ghislaine Maxwell. This device is only available to well-known people or those in need of. According to reports, Diddy is having a hard time adjusting to life behind bars, especially when it comes to the food, which is infamously bad and frequently described as bland, overcooked, or undercooked, flavorless, and lacking in nutrients. Diddy, who was used to fine dining served by personal chefs, has found this transition especially challenging. The purpose of extra protection is to provide increased security and stop situations involving other prisoners.
With kid gloves, when his lawyer has come out and said he's not suicidal. So he's basically in the medical unit getting special treatment. But now, Diddy hungry? Apparently, he's missing his private chef. I hate when that happens, when you can't take your private chef, your celebrity chef, with you behind bars at the Metro Detention Center. That's gotta hurt. But we are also hearing that he is so self-centered, he thinks he may be poisoned behind.
Recent accounts state that Diddy has abstained from eating while in detention, either because the food is unpalatable or more worrisome, because he believes it may be tainted. Prominent inmates who are suddenly thrown into a milieu over which they have little control are prone to this kind of paranoia. A person who is used to being completely in charge of his diet and way of life may find it very distressing to suddenly lose such control.
Couple, and there is nothing worse than going from drink spiker to spike drink drinker. But looks like he's gonna have to get it together because jail food sucks. Nothing worse than sugarless sugar cookies, sugarless coffee, sugarless Kool-Aid, sugarless sugar. Look it up. They gave us Equal or Splenda or some
control. No trustworthy reports of a poisoning threat have surfaced. The concern makes natural
a cook back there. There is a certified cook back there, but it's not enough cooks back there. It's like a few cooks that have to supervise a whole lot of inmates. You could imagine at this facility, there were 2,300 inmates, and they have to be fed 3 times a day. So they're cooking a lot of food back there. They're doing it under not enough professional supervision. So the food is not very good. It's no love in the food, man. You're not going to taste the food. It doesn't taste like your grandma's food. It doesn't taste like your mom's food. It is very bad food. So do not come to jail.
Considering the enormous stakes in his case, prison officials have not stated that Diddy is getting special treatment when it comes to his meals or housing, despite these concerns. Diddy's legal team is worried about his safety because of the physical risks posed by other prisoners, as well as the psychological toll.
Truly enunciate the massive me. He actually thinks somebody's going to risk their job to kill him and nobody will ever find out. You don't think they'll do an autopsy and find poison in his system? Is he crazy?
Nancy, yes, certifiably, he's crazy. You know, Nancy, it's very typical for men who are sociopathic, and obviously I don't know Sean Puffy Combs, but the traits that I'm seeing are very sociopathic. For them to feel grandiose and vulnerable, like they can get away with everything until they get caught. Once they're caught, they do become quite paranoid. It's like there's this weird psychological collapse where all of a sudden they think everybody's against them, and they're right. They are going to get in trouble. People are against them, but not in the sense that they're going to poison them.
That these circumstances are having on him. Diddy has been put on suicide watch, which is a common practice for well-known inmates who experience a sudden and drastic change in their surroundings, in addition to his problems with prison cuisine. The prison can keep a close eye on Diddy, even though his lawyer has said that he is not suicidal. This decision also shows the prison's cautious approach, particularly in light of well-known cases like Jeffrey Epstein's where negligence and protocol lapses resulted in serious consequences. Diddy certainly thinks it intrusive that he is constantly monitored and checked in by medical specialists as part of being placed on suicide watch, but it is a necessary condition given the circumstances. Given the considerable public attention that Diddy's case has received, the facility staff wants to ensure that well-known detainees like him stay secure.
His whereabouts. I mean, you think about, you go from a 14,000 square foot mansion in one city, a 17,000 square foot mansion in another city, and now you're in a 6 foot by 8 foot cell, 23 hours a day for the foreseeable future. That will take a mental toll on a person. However, I'm sure he's going through an array of emotions in terms of wanting to control his environment, what he eats, when he sleeps, who he gets to talk to. And based on the high profile, because this is a high profile case, obviously we would want to, or the institution would want to place him in a special housing or an area where they can, monitor his behavior.
Diddy's legal team is working very hard to prepare his case, but they face a number of challenges led by famous defense attorney Mark Agnifilo. In addition to the seriousness of the allegations, the judge has twice refused Diddy's release, citing worries for public safety and the potential that he would run. The judge deemed Diddy's release on bail to be too risky. Even though a $50 million bail package with strict conditions like GPS tracking and visiting limits was offered,